Welcome to Something That Should Be Talked About, where we talk about some things that should be talked about. I'm your host, DJ Shabak, and today in the studio we have with us the wonderful and lovely Flo.
Hi.
How are you doing? How are you?
Why are you asking me I thought we were just talking about the topic.
Well, it's a podcast, so we have to have a little introduction first.
I'm just uncomfortable right now.
Why are you uncomfortable?
Because your voice is weird.
She says my voice is weird. How's my voice weird?
Because that's not how you normally talk.
How do I normally talk?
Not like this.
I'm not talking like this. I'm talking.
See how you didn't even have to go anywhere? Because your voice is already deep for no reason.
My voice is not that deep.
Okay, whatever. I'm fine.
You're fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, how have you been?
Are we just gonna make this awkward?
The whole point is something that should be talked about. So, talk about something that should be talked about first before we talk.
How about you just introduce the topic?
This topic, okay. All right. Well, you want to tell your people your name and etc.
Why? You
got an audience out there, don't you?
No.
Yes, she does. She has an OnlyFans. The link is in her bio, so go check her out. Support Black women. I'm kidding. You know they say you only get 5 seconds to bring back a joke. I'm kidding. She doesn't have an OnlyFans, but she has a GoFundMe. So help her out. Support Black women. Yeah. So what is the topic?
Yeah, that's gonna be deleted.
What is the topic for today?
I don't know. You have it in your notes.
Wait, aren't you the one that's so advocate about this topic? I thought you was prepared.
No. Shabak, stop being weird.
Okay.
We were just having a normal conversation. This feels very weird.
Well, it doesn't have to. It only feels weird because it's being recorded.
No, I've been on your podcast before.
Well, there's something that should be talked about is women can stop misogynistic men. Wow, what did I say? Women can stop misogynistic men. Do you agree?
No.
Why do you not like your answers?
Just say your opinion first.
No.
You have to elaborate. First of all, I don't know why you're changing the way that you introduce. You're supposed to be like, this is something that should be talked about. And today we're gonna talk about women stopping misogynistic men.
Well, that's how I normally do when I'm by myself. But I got to
and then you be like, and today I have Flo weighing in on the topic, or whatever, however you say it, but you just being weird. Like, I was already, whatever.
You was already what?
I was already here. It's not like I just walked in and I was like, all right, you ready?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, since she just went ahead, she came in very rude. So, she had to go get her coffee. She was late. And then, we had food prepared for her. We're a nice host here at Something That Should Be Talked About. She just didn't care.
I didn't. All right.
I'm trolling her. But I'm getting her fired up because I love it when we talk about some things that should be talked about. She be ready to go off.
I do not.
Okay. So here's how I see it. Women can stop men from being misogynistic, and the reason why is because women allow it. Women tend to give the green lights for guys to be misogynistic. But here's the catfish, or the catcher, or the catch. Not all men. Women don't allow all men to be misogynistic. They allow...
Okay. So, I'm just going to stop you right there because when I looked up the definition
Hold on with your definition. No, you can't Let me finish
No,
explaining.
You can't continue.
I have to give context.
The definition of misogynistic in the dictionary of a misogynist is a person who hates or discriminates against women. So does that definition fit your question?
So first of all, to a degree, yes, but we also have to understand this is 2022. Webster and all the other dictionaries, they constantly update their definitions to support the current political agenda. If you don't believe me, look up that definition from 10 years ago, then 20 years ago, then 30 years ago. I'm quite sure it kept changing to support women. But my point here, though, is whether it's a man who just utterly hates women, or a man, which in my view of misogynistic, is a man who believes that he is superior, that he is the better gender, right? The toxic masculinity, that's a part of what I would consider misogynistic. Toxic masculinity, such as, you can't express your feelings. A man is supposed to be the one in charge. A woman is supposed to be submissive regardless of the man. You know, it seems like you got something to say.
Yeah, I just looked it up. It says from the 17th century, it's always been the hatred for women. Just letting you know.
Okay. Well,
but also says about women being at a lower social status than men. Hatred of, contempt for, prejudice against.
Well, that is what I'm referring to. So I believe that women have the ability to shift the way that men treat them. But the issue that I feel like is that women tend to allow misogynistic traits or toxic masculinity from some men and not all men. Typically, a Michael B. Jordan, a Chris Hemsworth, a Brad Pitt, a Bryson Tiller, a Chris Brown, right? And I'm not necessarily talking about the celebrities themselves, but the way that they look. Women tend to allow for a man to be toxic and do all this type of stuff if he looks up to par, right? It's typically like what we see on Twitter and Instagram all the time. You can't be talking to me. You can't have an attitude if you got small penis. We're gonna try to be a little censored. So it's
as in saying penis or is any.
We beeped out what she said, but you know what she said. The point here is that women tend to allow certain toxic behavior from some men that they may find very attractive. And I feel like that tends to continue the toxic masculinity and the misogynistic in men, because men tend to, it's my fan. It's making a squeaky noise. Men tend to look up to other men. So whether your bro or the guy that you know in your life admits it or not, he looks up to Michael B. Jordan. He looks up to Brad Pitt. He looks up, well, maybe not Brad Pitt. He's old. Huh?
Nothing.
Can see your feet. Yeah. See my feet too. But men tend to look up to Bryson Tiller or Chris Brown and etc. That's why we have the trend with the hairs, the Kanye, right? When Kanye does his hair a certain type of way, all the men get it. Chris Brown started dyeing his hair and doing all this crazy stuff. All the other men start doing it. And it's because men tend to look up to other men. If I'm looking up to this other man, it does not necessarily even have to be Chris Brown. It could even just be your uncles, your father figures in your life. And they're telling you these things, and they are able to show you how they have gotten women by doing these certain traits that we would consider toxic masculinity or misogynistic. Then why would you not do that? It's got them results. It should be able to get me results. Right, Flo?
Oh, you're done.
Well, I was transitioning in. Jesus Christ. Come on. Stick in the conversation.
So the reason why I disagree with you is because it should not be women's responsibility to fix the behavior of men. If you're a misogynistic man and you're choosing to be misogynistic, and you say, I'm a misogynistic man, and you know the traits that you're doing are misogynistic, why is it my responsibility now to change my behavior so that you cannot be misogynistic? That's like saying a robber has been getting results because he keep robbing the stores. But it's okay, because as long as he keeps robbing the stores, he keeps getting results, it's okay. Like, what? And so now the police is supposed to be, hey, you can't rob that. You know that's wrong. No. No. You know it's wrong. You keep doing it because you keep getting away with it. But at the end of the day, you still know it's wrong. So you still should not, it's not my responsibility to make you understand that it's wrong because you already know it's wrong. So now what? I'm supposed to force you? Or I'm supposed to say, oh no, I don't like that? If I don't like it originally, then I don't like it originally. But if another woman, if she likes that type of stuff, or she doesn't mind, or she doesn't care because she doesn't think of it a certain way, then that's how she feels about it.
So to go on your example with the robber, the consequence is already there. He's just escaped the consequence.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He gets away with it.
Right, but it's even more than just getting away with it. What I'm referring to is women given a consequence. There's a difference in between, like, if we was to take that example, is that what I'm saying is women should put the consequence. If you rob, you're going to jail. So
okay,
if you
what about some policemen who lets a person ride every single time when they pull them over, and then one day, and it might not be the person. Say the person is like, it might not even be the same cop. It's several different cops. You
said let them what?
Lets them drive off. They pull them over. They're like, hey,
so
you're illegally speeding, whatever. But it's constant warnings. You know, at some point, it's not a warning no more. Like, you're supposed to get a ticket. But it's just warnings on top of warnings. One day, randomly, you get a ticket. You finally got a ticket. So now, what are you going to say? Oh, the police is not supposed to be giving me a ticket because all the other times he let me get away with it?
No, is because what happens is that the police as a whole don't tend to come together and say, we're okay with people speeding. We're just going to give you a warning, right? What happens is a police officer may let you off, or maybe he knows you, maybe he's a family friend or whatever. He always lets you off, but he warns you that, but if my other people catch you, you know, I can't help you in there. So the whole point though is that there's still a consequence. What the difference is when women are saying, oh, I like a man who's assertive, who's this or who's that, and
there's
taking
context in the things that women are saying. Like, how are you saying, oh, when women say, I like when a guy's assertive, and then you take that and you try to go hit on a woman and you're being assertive and the woman's like, no, and you're surprised.
Well, I'm glad that's a great example. That's not what I was referring to, but that's a great example. Meaning there are some women who say that they like what we now call, I've heard, pressure. They like, they play games as like, they don't want to seem desperate. So they're not going to say yes. They're going to play hard to get. And the issue with that is I can't tell. Well, unless you are Chris Brown, like I said, the list of whatever attractive guys, celebrities you can think of, and take that into your everyday guys and those attractive guys. There are some guys who know that they are that guy. So 8 times out of 10, they approach a woman, she's interested. Even if she's married, even if she's got a man, she's interested, right? So she's like, I'm good, right? But he's still kind of applying pressure, as you know, they say. So what happens when another guy does the exact same thing, right? He, no, I'm good. Come on, why you gonna act like that? What you don't want to da, right? What happens then? I said I'm good. Why you harassing me? Well, oh dude, I literally have seen this. Now I haven't seen this exact example, but I've seen a girl at a block party and she was getting hit on by all the guys. Now imagine if one of the guys came up to her, and she was like, I'm good. And he does the exact same thing. He sees the other guy. I said I'm good. She makes a whole scene. Whose fault is it? Is it the fault of that guy who observed that even when she said I'm good to these other guys, these guys still pressed and they eventually got her Instagram or number? But when I do it, I'm getting this whole scene made, people saying I'm being disrespectful, etc., etc. You see my point? I feel like you see the point, but I feel like you're trying to counteract it. Just go ahead and say you see the point.
Okay, one, I see what you're saying. But also, I just feel like if I say I'm good, one, okay, there's different types of ways that a girl would be like, I'm good, and she's actually just trying to, like, play a little bit hard to get. Let's not be naive. There's body language. It's not just words. So if you see a woman saying, I'm good, and she's laughing or whatever, like, but you can kind of see that she's still trying to, like, feel you or whatever, then that's different. For the person's literally saying, I'm good, and, like, it's hostile energy. Hostile energy means I'm good. Like, I don't want to interact with you. I don't want it. And you still proceed, then why would you not expect a scene? Because I already said I'm good. You can, like, clearly see that I'm giving off hostile energy. You observed my interaction with the other dude that came up to me, and I thought he was cute, and I was like, I don't know, blah, 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 but I'm being a little flirty or whatever, and I ended up giving him the number. That's different. So for people for dudes to be like, oh yeah, no, monkey see, monkey do, and not understand that monkey see is not monkey do, because if then just decide, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna read body language, I'm not gonna care what she says, because obviously monkey see, monkey do, it doesn't matter what she's saying.
So I would say that that you have a point there. First of all, you do have a point. The issue though is there are some guys who are cognitive of body language. There's some guys, and just not even guys, people. There's some people who are cognitive, for instance, like the promoters who be on campus all the time. Hey, y'all should come to flyer. There's some people, comes to the party and giving out flyers. There's some people who's able to read body language. But similar to when we was giving out flyers on campus, about a year ago, and how we were saying that one of the people that we was giving out flyers with, she wasn't reading the body language. They were just trying to walk away. Now she was giving them like God's word, basically, come to our church, but she wasn't reading the body language that they kept trying to move away. So there are people who don't know how to read body language, meaning there are going to be guys who don't know how to read your body language. Number one. Number two, let's not pretend that there are some women who natural attitude is attitude. Right? Even to the guys they find attractive. Right? Looking at him. But she wants it. She likes it. And she knows that old dude is going to press. She knows that old dude is going to apply pressure. Right? And this is what I'm saying, is when we see this behavior, it has been approved. Guys don't come. Think about it. Why is rape still such a bad thing? I had to beep that out. Why is what do they call on the YouTube? I gotta figure these code words out.
You're gonna have to elaborate.
The thing when you forcefully put yourself onto a woman, that word, you know what I mean? Why is it that is commonly known amongst men and women that is bad?
Because you're forcefully doing it. What are you talking about?
Right. But we as a society has come to agreement that, oh no, men and women agree with that. Men and women totally agree. Right. But why is it that we don't fully agree on how a man should approach a woman?
Because it's not this. Okay. One, you cannot compare RPE to somebody approaching somebody. That's like two different things.
It's only became two different things because of our society. I now granted, I know there is. What do you mean
it's only became two different things because of how? It's literally. So if you're coming up to me, I'm assuming you have not put your hands on me. You're not trying to be aggressive and all of that or whatever, versus when you're intentionally trying to do that to somebody, you have put your hands on them, you have taken them down, you have done all the actions.
Right. So, okay. So I'm not talking about it from the actual that there's like a physical difference. Obviously there is. I'm talking about why is it that within the Me Too movement, we have come to an agreement that a woman should give complete consent if you're going to do certain things. And if she doesn't give complete consent, it's considered RPE. Why is it that we can agree on that for the most part, right? Majority of us agree on that. But we can't agree on what is and isn't an approval for you to apply pressure to a woman when you're trying to talk to her.
When you're having a conversation with somebody, you walk up to somebody on campus or whatever, you're like, hey, blah, 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 you know, how you doing, whatever, and you start talking to them. You're not initially like, it's a conversation. And the physical thing, the consent part is like, you don't ask consent to talk to somebody. You just start talking. If they want to talk to you, they don't.
But should we? I'm glad you said that. Why shouldn't? Like, think about it. Just as we have came to the agreement on she needs to say yes to doing sexual acts, why did we come to that agreement? Is because I can get up on you and do all this type of stuff. And typically, as guys have perceived that women are initiators, women don't say it, all this type of stuff. So you gotta be the aggressor, you gotta be the asserter.
It's not the same thing with the conversation.
It is though, because if I am having a conversation, especially like take yourself, you're an introvert. So if I come up to you, I'm like, hey, how you doing? Good. So what happened just there? You could have said, I'm doing good. What about yourself? All right. We take certain of these little things as consents, right? We say, if she asks you back, how are you doing? That means she wants to talk. Okay, but she's shy. Maybe she wasn't thinking about it. Maybe she was nervous. Okay, well, so what's your major? Neuroscience, blah, 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 blah. Okay. She didn't ask you your major? All right, well, man, these are the little different social things that we tend to say is consent of the conversation. Am I right?
Yeah. So,
if what we're saying is whether a woman is willing to give into the conversation, have this conversation, it sounds like we should have a consent where it's like, hey, how you doing? Well, not even that. Hey, I am Shabak. Would you like to have a conversation?
So that's how we should all agree that when we want to go talk to somebody in class, in person, in random. Hey, my name is Flo. Can I have a conversation with you? Sure. What do you want to talk about? Well, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's how we all should proceed with conversations now, because we need consent.
I mean, we came in agreement with sex, right?
Sexual activities is different than a conversation.
But how is it different when we consider it harassment if you didn't want to have a conversation and the person kept having a conversation?
No. That's not harassment. Harassment is when I've told you, no, I do not want to talk to you. No, I'm good. No, leave me alone. And you are aggressively coming at me. Okay. And yes, I'm triggered because this literally happened to me 2 weekends ago. No, it is harassment when you are aggressively coming at me. It's perfectly fine when I'm having a conversation with you, or I'm like, no, I don't want to have a conversation with you or whatever, and you move on with your day. It's a whole nother thing when I am now feeling unsafe and scared because a man has decided, no, I'm not going to listen to what she's saying, and I'm going to keep on coming at her. Not even just, hey, no, I want to talk to you. No, aggressively, hey, ma, come talk to me. Hey, big girl, come talk to me. That's two different things.
Right. Very true. Now, what happened the other day?
I was going to take boxes. This man saw me walking, taking the boxes. He decided to get into my personal space and try to get my number or whatever. He approached me, got like within 2 inches of me, said, let me give you a hug, blah, blah, blah. Let me talk to you, whatever. I'm fine. Leave me alone. No, I don't want your number. And he did not listen to me. And I thought I was in the safe. And I went back. I had to go get another box. He was still out there. And I thought I got away clean, but he still came after me and was being aggressive. And, you know, as a woman, you're used to people coming up to you, trying to talk to you or whatever. And, you know, people being a little bit, you know, persistent or whatever. But I did not feel safe. And I even felt worse because I felt like people, like it wasn't like him and I were the only people on the street. He was with a whole group of dudes watching them do that. And literally I know for a fact they knew that I was saying no. They didn't go get their boy. They didn't say, hey, yo, she don't want to talk to you, just take the L, whatever. They didn't do that. There were people walking past me, I don't know why they didn't say anything or whatever. I'm not saying it's your responsibility as a bystander, but at the same time, that's how stuff happens. When people are bystanders and they don't do anything, and then they just assume, oh, well, no, somebody else will help her or somebody else will do something, and then something happens while everybody's watching. And, I'm not saying the man put his hands on me. It wasn't sexual harassment or nothing, but I just felt unsafe because I'm like, this man clearly is not listening to me say no. He's clearly not. I've tried every other way to say, no, I don't. Please leave me alone. And you are still coming after me. At what point is your persistence not harassment? Like, how many times do I have to say no? And that's the thing that bothers me. It's okay, cool, you're persistent. I said I'm good. You still think persistence is the way to go. And I say I'm good again. How many times do I have to say I'm good before you stop?
Yeah. And I'm not saying that, first of all, to be even more clear, I'm not agreeing. In fact, I don't even like persistence. I hate the idea of you have to, and for some women, this idea that you have to play this game of being persistent or whatever, applying pressure, because it can get out of hand. I have had conversations that have gotten out of hand, but it wasn't because of that. And I'm like, I didn't like how I felt when I realized, oh, she felt uncomfortable. So off the rip, I'm not trying to make you feel uncomfortable. If you're like, oh, I'm good, okay, I'm gonna turn around and walk off. But there are a lot of women though who consider that as, he ain't got the balls, he can't handle me, And you know what? Maybe I can't, me personally, but that issue though does apply to a lot of guys where they feel like I need to have the balls to persist, to do this.
But at what point, even if you are persisting, the person says, the girl saying no, and you're just assuming she's playing hard to get. So you're blind to the fact that now she's getting hostile. So you're blind to the fact that now she's uncomfortable. So you're blind to the fact that now she's saying, look, just leave me alone. Like, I don't want your number. Leave me alone. No, I'm good. No, I can't have, like, I have a boyfriend. Oh, right. You can't have friends? No, I can't have friends. Like, and at this point, you're not dumb. Like, you have social media. Most people have social media now. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me you have never seen on social media a girl saying, yeah, I say that because I don't want a dude to come up to me. Wow. I don't want to give the dude my number. I have a boyfriend. Mm-hmm. I don't want your number. Yeah. Oh no, I just want to be your friend. Obviously you don't, because you just tried to hit on me.
Yeah. And I think the issue though is, again, to what I was saying, is when they deal with certain type of women who like that. They think about it. When you go to the club, why are you going to the club? You really going to the club just to dance? We've been to a club and we had more fun at some of these college parties than we did at the club. What we observed at the club was that it was really a social place, really a place for you maybe to go holler at some dudes, holler at some girls, dancing, all this type of stuff. Where, what room, and why? It was awkward and all this type of stuff. So when you are in those environments, or even at a party, I've seen, like I said, women talking to guys and guys talking to girls, and how they would just very much, all right, I'm hollering at her, etc., etc. And that's the type of energy, that's the time that they're on. Now, I would say a gentleman is going to be concerned about his perception that this woman is giving. I believe a gentleman is going to, okay, well, hey, how you doing? All right. Oh, okay. Well, have a good one. I believe a gentleman is going to do that. A gentleman may see you again and may be polite, hey, and keep walking or whatever. Maybe try to build some rapport with you if he still likes you. But that's what a gentleman takes. Should all men be gentlemen? Obviously, but all men aren't, because they don't need to.
Okay, and I don't need to, like, my thing is, your question is, can women change misogyny? Like,
yeah.
they have no responsibility for that.
I think that
you,
women,
as a dude, need to have responsibility over your own behavior.
But
you
why
know
do
the
I?
behavior is wrong.
But why do I need to change it if there are women who approve my behavior?
No, you don't have to if that's what you want to do. A drug dealer can still be a drug dealer. He knows it's illegal. He knows he can die for it. He knows he can go to jail.
Mm.
Why change it when you're making money fast?
Exactly.
You don't have to.
Right.
It's not my job as a policeman. My job as a policeman is to just take care of the people who's breaking the law.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally it. My job as a woman is to be a woman. It's not to make sure that all men are not being misogynistic or to change my behavior because a man is being misogynistic and disrespectful.
So but it's not about your behavior because you said you don't like the pressure. Period. Right.
Right.
So what about for the woman who does? Can you agree that there are women out here who do like the pressure?
Pressure in what context?
What one person may perceive as harassment, another woman considers pressure. No, I'm good. Why? I can't get your number. What? You too good for me? All you think like a lot of women consider that pressure. They like that. Now, I know there may be some women.
So we're gonna just assume that all women are the same. Is that what they're doing?
No, that's the point. All women aren't the same. And I believe that is why guys aren't willing to switch their misogynistic ways.
But it's not the whole point is it's not the woman's job for you to understand how to approach women, how to approach different women, how to approach a person in general, because everybody is completely different. So you literally just said you don't like pressure. You don't even like applying the pressure because you don't like how you feel with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's you. As a dude,
mm-hmm.
Another dude who could say, no, I don't have a problem applying pressure because
mm-hmm.
I want what I want. Right?
Right.
Okay, then. So if that's two different things, it's not my job to be like, oh, okay, well, I don't like pressure. So I'm just going to make sure, or women in general need to all make sure that we all act a certain way so that guys just decide not to do it anymore. So that's not a thing.
So my thing would be, I wouldn't mind applying pressure if I knew pressure 100% gets me her number, 100% gets me gets me a date, 100% gets this girl's attention.
There's different ways you can apply pressure without being aggressive. You can show a girl that you really like her by just doing different things that you know that is going to make her be like, yeah, I see you as a potential candidate. Literally on all these reality shows where it's a whole bunch of dudes competing for like 3 girls or whatever. I was literally watching a show and it's like they can't do anything but apply pressure. But applying pressure in, look, hey, I want to get to know you. Like, look how we vibe, blah, blah, blah. Versus, hey, ma, come over here. How was that pressure?
And I think when we get to that specifically, the type of pressure, that then goes to the way or that type of man is because a woman can still take pressure being as harassment one way or another. I'm about to paint the picture. If a woman comes from the hood, then she likes that type of pressure. She likes it. That's why I can't get certain women. Is because, and I don't want those certain women. And we've talked about this. I'm gonna just say the certain type of women because that's not my vibe. They would consider me to be a square. But take another type of woman where she likes my charisma. She likes my personality. But I wouldn't pressure her the same way or put pressure her the same way. My pressure may just be my charm. Trying to be a little flirty, trying to be complimentary, trying to make her smile, trying to be witty. Different type of pressure. But she can still consider it harassment if she doesn't find me attractive, if she doesn't have some interest. And that's what a lot of women say. Well, I wasn't going to at first, but I was kind of interested to see how it will go. You hear so many love stories start like that. I was interested to see how it go, right? She didn't get the full green light, but the pressure made her interested.
Being persistent.
Well, that's why I'm trying to use the modern age what they say pressure, but yes.
The reason why I'm saying being persistent versus because you also have to define the pressure part that you're saying, because in my mind, the pressure part is when you're being aggressive and you're just coming at me for no reason.
So persistence.
There's another one that is where you're flirty, you're like, no, like, I really think you should try me out or whatever. Being persistent and trying to get the girl to, entertain you or whatever, being flirty or whatever. I feel like that's persistent versus pressure.
Okay. So persistence. So would you consider persistence as a bad thing?
No.
Do you think women consider persistence as a bad thing?
I think when they considered it a bad thing, they no longer want to entertain the person anymore. And I think at some point, maybe they said, yo, look, I'm not interested or whatever. And then the person is still trying to be persistent. And you're like, can you just leave me alone? That's when you start getting blocked or whatever. But in person, it's kind of hard to be like, okay, you're blocked to a person that's standing in front of you. And so the person is being persistent. And it may not be aggressive, but it's just like, can you leave me alone? You're harassing me now.
Right. Well, then I agree. So what it sounds like is that we need clear communication.
What part of no is hard to understand?
Well, I'm not referring to the no's. But, well, I'm glad you said that. And that's a whole nother thing when it comes to this Me Too movement is no are two different things.
Okay, so you want to talk about that? How about let's talk about nigger. You know the difference. So now you it's complicated to understand no or bitch. How is that hard to understand? Let's stop acting stupid. We know the difference. We know the difference when it's body language. We know the difference in tone. We know the difference as human beings. So if I'm saying no, smiling, being flirty, touching you.
I wouldn't say
if I'm saying no, I don't want your number. Hostile. Mad. I don't want it.
So it takes more than just words. It takes us being able to read.
As human beings, we automatically do that. Mm-hmm. That's why there's different disorders that people have when they're not able to read social cues and stuff like that. So unless you have that, why are you struggling?
Yeah. Well,
and the reason why everybody's like, oh, in the Me Too movement, and they're like, no, I said no, and you still proceeded, is because we understand, and you know, and you ignored it. You ignored it, and you continued, and now you have forced, and now we have the thing that you don't want to say.
Right. I get it. I'm just saying is that it's not as simple as we tend to make it. Because how long did it come to of us trying to go back and forth to have this conversation? And when someone believes that their thing is right, two different women can believe in a whole two different things. So it's not consistent on what is considered pressure, what is considered persistence.
But you know what is consistent? Body language. What we all know.
Not necessarily.
Body language.
Not necessarily.
Yes, it is.
Because
that's why they could do experiments. Scientists can study behavior on human beings, because we all subconsciously, we all know when somebody, based off facial structure, based off body language, based off all that, we could tell when somebody's angry, sad, happy, mad, excited. All of those emotions, those general, it's like, I think like 6 or 7 general things. So you don't need to be like, well, is she happy, sad? Is she mad, excited? Like, you don't need all of that. If I already said no.
Do you consider yourself to be an RBF? To have RBF?
I have come to understanding that I have that facial expression.
Right.
But that's a different thing. I don't have a mirror in my...
Same thing.
I don't have a mirror in my face.
It's the same thing.
I don't have... Okay, no, it's not the same thing. Because you have not come up to me. You haven't looked at me. You have not come up to me and said anything. So for people to just assume that I'm just a resting bitch because they just looked at my face, it's two different things. Because the people that have come up to me and said something to me understand that I'm not a bitch.
Well, I agree. But what I'm saying, though, is that if I was to go off body language, then I would be like, oh, shoot, she looks like she don't want to be bothered.
Like I just said, if that's what you want to do.
But that's body language.
If that's what you want to think.
But that's what I'm saying, is that we can't, it's not simple.
It's not the same thing. It's literally not the same thing.
You don't want to categorize it as the same thing because it has to do with you.
It's literally not.
Okay. I guess we'll have to agree to this.
I'm talking about when the person is talking to you, not when you're looking from the distance trying to see whether you could come up to the girl. At this point, then we should have been having a different conversation. You said the person is talking to me. I am talking to you. I say no. I say no aggressively. I say no I'm saying no.
Right.
Why is that hard to understand?
Right. That is not hard to understand.
Really?
I'm just saying is that when it comes with, before it gets there, because that's a whole issue, right? How to prevent it to getting to that point where you're hostilely saying no. So if you got RBF, take this for instance. If you got RBF, and if this guy isn't giving you interest enough to make you smile, he can't make you smile yet, right? This face is what he's going to get because he's not doing nothing to make you smile. So now he got to try to be like, hey ma, why you not smiling? Girl, you too pretty to, like, he got to try to come with stuff or whatever. But you got RBF.
Okay, if I have RBF, like, and I said no.
What the? Well, okay.
I'm confused because, okay, you come up to me.
We talked about body language. That's why I was.
Okay, body language. A dude comes up to me. I'm just straight faced. Mm-hmm. I'm relaxed. Mm-hmm. He says something. It's not funny. I'm still relaxed.
But what if you find him? So, okay. Glad you said that. So, if he says something you don't find funny, but you find him cute, you still gonna relax?
My face is not an RBF when people come up to me and they're talking to me. Naturally, my eyebrows go up.
Yeah, that's what makes you an RBF, because your eyebrows up or down.
No, it's not. It still has an arch, but either way, when my face is relaxed, people don't say I have a resting bitch face. Okay. It's only when my face is literally all the muscles in my face are relaxed, then you see it. Right. But when it's not.
What is not? You're not describing when it's not. Tell me when you're smiling.
Not when I'm smiling, but I'm just not. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't have a mirror in my face. I just know the difference. What I'm saying is, okay, fine. RBF arched up, arched down. It don't matter. RBF period. Okay. I have an RBF face. The dude comes up to me. He's like, what he said is not funny, and I'm just not feeling it. Or you're saying I want to feel it.
You find him to be attractive.
I find him to be attractive, but what he's saying is not feeling it. First of all, you're not getting my number, even if you're attractive, and you're not funny. Like, but either way, okay, let's just say I'm attracted to him, and I'm just like, okay. Obviously, now my body language is gonna be more like, oh, like, what's your name? But like, I'm gonna be responsive. Versus if a person is not responsive and they might not be hostile at first, but they're just like, you could tell. And here's my problem is that you could tell when somebody's vibe is off when you're talking to them. You could tell when they're like, it seems like they don't really want to talk to me. Mm-hmm. You could tell. Everybody could tell, because when they're in a group of people, it seems like all the people have a problem. You could feel that.
So take, for instance, Cheyenne. When I first met her, you wasn't there. But Jasmine and Cheyenne was like on the complete opposites of each other. Jasmine, very bubbly. Hi, how you doing? Da da da. Okay, da da. Cheyenne, literally, she seemed closed off.
Okay, she could have seemed closed off, and maybe she was just being like, she just didn't want to. She wasn't feeling you at first, and then when you got to know her better, she got to know you better.
But it wasn't even getting to know better. It was like the next time we met in person, I went up to her. I'm like, oh Lord, okay, because we were told to talk to someone that you haven't talked to. So she was literally behind me. So I was like, all right. So I kind of was like trying to arch the conversation to her and Jasmine, maybe thinking I'll make them comfortable. Then someone, I think, came up, talked to Jasmine, and then she perked up. So what I'm saying is, I didn't necessarily do. I don't know what it was. Maybe she can tell us later. But in that first interaction, there was something. But
somebody can say the same thing about me. If I don't know you, I'm not automatically comfortable with you. I'm not automatically like, hi.
True.
Like, that's not my personality.
True.
And if people decide they don't want to mess with me because off first interaction, that's how it was, then I don't really, there's really nothing I can do.
Right.
If you just want to assume that's how I am, then that's what you've assumed. But what I'm saying is, if we're strictly talking about dudes coming up to girls, being persistent, oh, it's a resting bitch face, I'm confused all of a sudden because she got a resting bitch face. I'm sorry. If I've already said, no, I'm good, and you just like, I have had people come up to me and say, oh, why aren't you smiling? Let me see a smile. I smile and I move on because I don't want to.
Do you like that? Do you like when people say that?
No, I don't, because I don't have an attitude. I'm chilling. You just automatically assume that I have an attitude because I just have a straight face.
Right.
Like, I don't, but I'm not going to be pissed off about it and curse you out. I'm just going to be like, okay, whatever. And I'm moving on. And in that same interaction, he tried to get my number. I was like, no, I'm good. Moved on. He moved on. He could have been mad or whatever, but he moved on.
Some about the guy who would say you should smile more.
Yeah.
Well, I get that. So he moved on. You're saying that he respectfully moved on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to say stuff like, if you want to do, there are people who do that all the time, but they know not to be disrespectful and not to keep going after the person
so
after
persistence,
they said it.
So persistence after saying no is disrespectful.
No.
No.
The past 20 minutes was just about body language. And
so body language after saying no is disrespectful.
If the person
even though you said no, and I persist, that's not disrespectful.
Okay,
but
can you please stop?
Language,
you are literally trying. I can see it in your face. You're trying to make a issue.
No. I'm not making an issue. I'm trying to get an understanding.
I'm trying to tell you the understanding.
Okay.
If you can tell that I do not want your number and you're still going, and I've said it, I'm hostile. I'm like, I've said all this stuff, and you keep going. Yes.
If I can tell. If I can tell.
Okay.
You said if I can tell.
Yeah.
But what if I can't tell?
I'm sorry. Then you want to get tabbed? You want to get stabbed? You want to get tased? Stabbed? Tased? Shot? Killed? Do you want that? Or do you want to start telling?
So it sounds like you're trying to say that men need to go the extra mile to be able to tell whether or not a woman is giving him the green light.
What do you mean extra? How is that extra?
Because it's complicated. What everything, based off of everything we've discussed for about the past hour, has been not a direct closed case. It's body language. It's vibe. It's things that
those
are
not
left
things
up
that
to
you
interpretation.
are. Those, first of all, those are not things that you be like, oh, brain, let me feel the vibe. Is it there? Is it not? You get that automatically. You are automatically, when you walk up to a person, reading body language.
Yeah.
Subconsciously or consciously. You're already doing that. That's not extra. It's already done.
Yeah.
You are already feeling the vibe. When you start talking, you're already doing that. That's not extra. So all the information that your brain is taking in through your eyes, and then now you're taking it in through your ear, because I already said no. I said leave me alone. You got the ear, you got the visual information, and you got the ear. And you're still confused.
I get it.
And it's not extra.
So, well, it just depends, but I get what you're saying.
Depends on what?
It depends on your perception, because it can be considered extra. It's just that
perception on what? What situation?
Human interaction.
What situation in which I'm giving a hostile energy and you can perceive that as a nice one?
Obviously, but hostile energy is the last resort.
Okay. What when I'm giving not interested energy? Is that confusing?
Well, now we're talking, because not interested energy could be perceived as she don't find me attractive, so now I gotta show her my charisma. She thinks I'm a square, so I gotta prove to her that I'm not. She thinks that because I'm this or that, or my height, because I'm short, she thinks that I'm not a good candidate, but if I can make her laugh, persistence.
Okay, what we already said, persistence is not necessarily a bad thing as long as you're respectful.
But if she's not interested, you just said if she's not interested.
I think you're getting confused, because being persistent and I'm entertaining it versus being persistent and I've already said no, I'm giving standoffish energy, and I'm already saying all of that stuff and you're still going, that's disrespectful. But if I'm like, oh yeah, I'm laughing a little bit, I'm being flirtatious back or whatever, and all of that, that's different persistence.
Right.
And we've already discussed that. So, like I said, where are you confused at? Where is the confusion?
Well, I think you brought a little clarity to it. Is that even when you persist, if you're entertaining it, then it's okay to persist. But if you're not entertaining it, don't persist.
Right.
There we go. Well, 90 degrees hotter. That was something that should be talked about. If you have a topic that you think we should talk about, leave it in the comment section. And if you want to be on an episode, hit me up in the DM so we can schedule a time. But until next time, keep talking about some things that should be talked about. Again, this is your host, DJ Shabak, and the wonderful... She's about 90 degrees hot right now, figuratively and literally. So, see you.